What's going on, guys? Fun with Knives back again. It is review time. I got a fixed blade for you. This little guy is the Boker Plus Mini Slik Tanto. Very unique knife, something I was interested in as soon as I saw it. But most of all, it is a tiny knife. So set that down, pull up the specs for you guys, and we'll get into this review here. So the blade length on this one is 2 inches. Your overall length is 4.875 inches, so the whole thing is less than 5 inches. Your handle thickness is 0.39 inches, and your blade stock is very thick at 0.16 inches. Overall, pretty stout little blade, and then your weight is 2.16 ounces. I don't know if that's with or without the little Kydex sheath that it comes with, so I mean, we'll say the whole package probably weighs around 2.5 ounces. I mean, just ballpark. So very lightweight, very little, still very thick, at least in blade stock. Now this knife costs $32. It's a production knife made by Boker, designed by Amsler Knives. If you want a custom of this knife, or they got a kind of a reverse style where this is the sharpened portion and the blade is flipped, kind of like a Warncliffe, those are going to run you around $175. So I'm glad they did this collaboration, get more Amsler knife designs in people's hands. And when I saw it, I was kind of on a neck knife kick at the time, and I was like, I think I want that. It's different. I think it's a little bit futuristic, and I think it's something I could carry in the office without arousing too much suspicion. So let's take a closer look at this blade here. As the name would suggest, this does have a Tanto blade. It's got a very cool finish on it. It's kind of a distressed stonewash. Like that a lot. Boker Plus on the grind here. You can see how small this knife is. I'm way up into the camera. Amsler Knives. This is flat ground. It's got kind of a shallow saber grind on it. Very strong grind, and then a swedge that runs the full length of the spine of the knife. And it's a little bit fooling to see that that's not a very thick blade, but you can see down here in the tang that is extremely thick for this size of knife. Now the blade shape itself is very pointed, and it's made out of 440C, and I've come to love 440C. It's a pretty good all-around steel. It's not exceptional in any qualities, but it's not terrible in any qualities. It's just kind of middle of the road, decent steel, and it's been around as a blade steel for a very long time, and I can see why. Now this thing did arrive very sharp, but with that thick blade stock and this style of grind, this thing is a terrible slicer. This is not the best cutting tool. This blade shape, a slender Tanto, is definitely more suited for little puncturing tasks. Now, as a little neck knife, I've been using it, for scoring cuts, draw cuts, that kind of thing, opening letters, packages, and it works okay at that. But this is not going to be processing any food, long shearing cuts. This just doesn't have the blade for it. So down to the handle here. It's a 3-finger grip for sure. We'll talk about ergonomics in just a moment. But this is titanium, the same finish that the blade has. In fact, the whole knife has that all the way around. Very cool finish. 2 matching holes through the blade, kind of riveted on there. You can see the blade steel denoted there. And then I believe this number is a serial number. Not quite sure on that. Scale is very cool looking, kind of angular. Got these 2 little cutouts. This portion here is meant for your 2 first fingers, your ring finger landing here, and your pinky holding on to the lanyard. In that grip, it's not bad. I mean, this knife is definitely not meant for extended use. Had to move that Mandalorian patch more into the light so you could see it. Messing with the light even more now. What am I doing? All right, sorry about that, guys. So the ergonomics, not superb. But for what I think this knife is meant for, I can't complain. The fit and finish on this knife is excellent, though. I mean, the grind lines were good. How the scales fit is awesome. You can see that it looks like one material here. I mean, there's a little bit of a gap, but your nail barely catches. I mean, just how these scales were aligned is really good. And I'm bumping the camera, guys. Sorry, it's been a long day. But it does come with this blue anodized titanium bead attached to the knife when you get it. this little black paracord here, and that provides your pinky with something to grab onto, so it doesn't feel like you're, using such a small knife. Now that grip isn't bad. I mean, you can throw it through your finger like this, give you some grip. I think it's a very cool touch. I mean, for the price of knife, can you get more knife for your money at $32? Absolutely. But little touches like that, the titanium, the little bead, the finish on the knife, I think it's not a terrible deal. It's really not. I think this knife is mostly for cool factor over functionality, and sometimes you need that. Sometimes you want something unique, different in your collection, rather than just your plain old 3-inch drop point that's sitting in your pocket that is no different than all of your other knives. So this does come with a Kydex sheath, very well done, very simple, very minimal. 4 grommet holes here. I was running some paracord off the top one, carrying it as a neck knife, of course. You definitely could throw this knife just in your pocket. This thing would fit excellently in a pocket. But Kydex is good. The fit is pretty decent. I mean, I'm not worried about it falling out. I don't think I'd want to be, running hurdles or anything with that strapped around my neck, because it might fall out then. But for average everyday use, not worried about it. I'm very impressed with Boker plus quality control. Now this knife does come with a cool presentation, black box. It does come with your bead chain, form fitted into the foam here. So all in all, do I recommend this knife? No, I don't. I don't think this knife is meant for the masses. I really don't. This is not the Benchmade Griptilian, the Spyderco Delica, which everyone can find something in those knives that they like because they're just that good. This knife, I think, is designed for knife aficionados of a certain style. Ones that like titanium, ones that like anodization and beads, ones that like the finish, maybe they like the Tanto, maybe they like small fixed blades, so these kind of micro fixed blades. So if you're one of those people, absolutely, get this knife. I mean, it's $30. It'll be a cool addition to your collection, but for me, this knife isn't going to stick around. In fact, by the time you guys watch this video, I will have already given this knife away. But that's not to say I hate it. I like it. I've used it. I just don't think it's for me. There's nothing really wrong with the knife. I mean, there's definitely some improvements they could make, but I think they would detract from the Amsler knife's design. So, thanks for watching, guys, as always. And remember, have fun with your knives.